Hey children, welcome back to Close Reading where it's Monday, we're starting a new week. Last week we started reading a lot about the American Revolution, we were reading new texts, and today I have a new text for you. So this one is titled Tea Troubles, the Boston Tea Party. What I'm going to start doing is I'm just going to orient myself to the text. So I'm going to look at the text features. So I see an image here. Seems like we have some Native Americans here. We see some colonists here maybe. Some are wearing blue coats and some are wearing red coats. That's interesting. I know that the author, the illustrator of this image chose those colors on purpose. Now I'm going to take a look at the subheadings. Tea anyone? Okay. I see another image here. It seems like some people are pulling something. And then I'm going to look at the headings. The Sons of Liberty. Okay, so here's another section of the text. And then we have from anger to action. All right, I think I'm ready to start reading the text. Now, based on the text features that I saw and the subheadings that I saw, I know that this is a non-fiction text. So I'm going to mark the genre non-fiction. And I'm going to think about what do I look out for when I read nonfiction. So definitely main idea is something important. I think about the vocabulary that I'll be reading. And because I'm reading about the American Revolution, I will be learning some American Revolution vocabulary. So that would be content-specific vocabulary. So I'm just going to write content vocab. Of course, we're going to take a look at our text features like we just did. Text features. We are going to be thinking about text structures. And we are going to be looking at the craft that the author is using. So author's craft will also be something I will be looking out for. All right, so now I set up my genre lens and I can begin reading. Tea Troubles, the Boston Tea Party. It was a cold December night in Boston in 1773. The three British ships, the Dartmouth, the Eleanor, and the Beaver, were sitting in Boston Harbor, their holds full of tea that wasn't being unloaded because the angry residents of Boston were threatening not to buy or use the tea. Okay, so wait a second. I see that the author is already setting the scene for me and giving me the setting. So it's cold December night in Boston, and we're by these British ships. They're full of tea, and the Boston residents are threatening not to buy or use any of the tea. Okay, tea anyone? The anger was directed at the government of Great Britain, which in May of 1773 had passed the Tea Act. Oh, I remember reading about the Tea Act in the book that I chose to read to get an overview of the American Revolution. And I know that that's something that's important. So I'm going to underline it. A law that almost guaranteed that the American colonists would buy tea from the East India Company. Why? The Tea Act imposed no new taxes on the colonies. Okay, so it's saying, no, we're not charging you any new taxes. But the law lowered the price on tea sold by the East India Company so much that it was way below the price charged by other tea companies. The Tea Act granted the British East India Company tea an unfair monopoly. Monopoly. I'm going to underline that word. I'm going to circle it because I know that it's important. And I'm going to take a look over here to find the meaning. Monopoly. Exclusive control by one group to produce or sell a good or service. Okay, I think I'm understanding. So the Tea Act lowered the price of the tea from the British East India Company so much that they would be the only company that people would be buying from. Most American tea sellers would be put out of business. Okay, so I understand. So this law made the people buy tea from the East India Company, and all the other companies would be put out of business, so they wouldn't be selling tea anymore. Why did this law come about? The East India Company wasn't doing well financially, and the British government wanted to help the company get back on its feet. So I noticed that the author is asking me a question here. I know that's part of the craft. And so it's saying, why did the law come about? Well, they wanted to help this British company get back on its feet and get out of debt. So that's important. Let's keep reading.